Darth Drevion. The name itself disgusts me. Unfortunately, it's imperative that you all know who he is, and know what he means for the projects at hand. So here I am. Drevion on Sagan was originally found by Marianne V. on Sagan, my mother. For whatever reason, she decided to adopt him into the clan to try and further the Unsagan scientific knowledge. I hate the bastard, but unfortunately, his scientific expertise were on a completely different level. I've never even seen knowledge and experience such as his. Studying his notes has been quite interesting, despite the fact I've wanted to rip out the throat of that man for God knows how many years. Nevertheless, he was employed by the clan to help move it into a new direction, a direction that my mother wished to call our Golden Age. Her plan was to get us involved in the war, but in a very unique way. She considered herself to be very clever by having Drevion compose new and strange scientific projects. This was inspired off of Darth Angral and I guess the Republic's Power Guard project. A project that increases the physical power, mental fortitude, and a bunch of other things of regular human beings through cybernetic connections. Drevion thought of doing it the same way, but adding the Force to these individuals. He called this project something that was known as Amethyst. As time progressed, the Unsagan transformed into an information organization. Basically put, the armies could buy knowledge from them about certain areas that was either strange or unknown to the two great armies. Geographical data, terrain information, weather reports, customs and affairs, things of that nature. They became the spies of the organizations. Unfortunately, however, the armies wanted something different from them. They wanted the Unsagan to be loyal, but they completely refused. As the Unsagan clan continued to grow, Drevion's dreams for them continued to differ in comparison to what the clan was thinking. He wanted to create this new force, this Amethyst, to give the Unsagan their own special operations squad. Why the hell he thought they needed it is beyond me. The Unsagan clan are for the most part composed of former Jedi and Sith. Most of them are in Knight or Master territory. So the Unsagan clan is powerful in their own right, just small. However, if you want me to guess the mind of a madman, in his mind, I would think that he wanted the Unsagan to become another organization, much like Zakuul did in the middle of the war. This would enable Drevion to completely destroy the Republic and the Sith, as Zakuul did before them. Quite an interesting strategy, if it would have worked. Thankfully, the Unsagan had at least a little sense and decided to deny Drevion's request. This left him disillusioned with the clan's motives, and as a result of that left a year after. I believe he left in order to try and plan out his own path, to continue to create his Amethyst, while still taking revenge of the Unsagan. That puts me and Mihiku into the story. I believe Bastila Shan may have said this before, but what greater power is there than to have your own enemy's knowledge turned against them? To use their same tactics, their moves, their very blood to destroy everything they've ever known. Eventually, Drevion learned of another Unsagan prince who was banished from his clan due to getting into an argument with many of the people that banished him and killing them as well. This would be a perfect opportunity for him to finally move forward with his revenge plan, using the son of the Unsagan, its baby, in an attempt to try and destroy everything else that lives there. Of course, at that time, I was rather hostile when it came to Sith. So as a result of that, Drevion couldn't just stroll up to me and introduce his idea of making me the perfect warrior, especially being as though Sith purebloods are primarily employed by the Sith. However, he was aware of my hatred of the Sith from the start, so he decided to use something else to get close to me. As the saying goes, behind every great man, there is generally a great woman as well. In Drevion's case, that woman was Milano Dunoa. I have absolutely no idea what Drevion said to her to convince her to join him. To be entirely honest, I at one point thought that he had manipulated her in some way, until I found out that everything that Milano did against Mihiku and I was natural. It doesn't matter now. She's long gone, I suppose. Irregardless, now that he had his way in, all he needed to do now was wait. I will be honest, I am a proud man that knows his limitations, and when it comes to combat, I am less suited than most in order to carry on the mantle that Drevion needed. So therefore, Drevion decided that he needed to use my child instead. A child trained from near birth in order to be exactly as Drevion wanted them to be. The harbinger of fear, hatred, and of darkness. And so, when my child Mihiku turned 6, that is when he made his move. Drevion ambushed Milano, Mihiku, and I when we was out on a picnic, and killed Milano, defeated me, and took Mihiku with him. For 12 long and grueling years, he has slowly been torturing Mihiku, teaching her the Sith, and made her into an assassin that would follow every order he would give in exchange for the opportunity to share her pain with someone else. As time went on, he assimilated her into the Amethyst Project, implanting within her a special chip that enables her to do anything that he asks as long as he spoke a certain code, as well as giving her the power to do exactly as was needed. However, now that he has his Phase 1, he knew that he needed to build his Phase 2 and eventually 3. After a few long years, he actually decided it would be a good idea to find me and check and see how I was doing now that I had been alone for 12 years. When he saw that I was in command of a rather powerful force, he decided to use this moment in order to replace who I was. So, he killed the man known as Mahayan Sagan and implanted another one in his place, a cyborg that bore almost every feature that I had, only this time I would have that same chip that Mihiku had, making it so that when he spoke a certain command, I would do as he pleased as well. Time went on, and he decided to adopt a 3rd phase. This 3rd phase would work the same way mine did, only this time it would be random people who he entrusted to have the chip inside. So, he made them do the same thing that Mihiku did, kill random people. A few of them escaped, others died, and soon enough me and Mihiku escaped from it as well. I wish I could have seen the look on his face when he found out that his best 2 little test subjects had turned against him and revealed everything that he knew. I think at this point he was in the endgame, so he decided to reveal his final little chip. He decided to show Mihiku that her mother, Milano, still lives. At this point, Mihiku idolized her mother and was very saddened when she died. So showing her that her mother was actually evil this entire time hopefully would pull her back to him, now that Milano was by his side as well. However, I wasn't going to let that happen. So I stopped her, and stopped him as well. Soon enough, he retreated, and eventually I had tracked him, finally, to the Amethyst Labs that rest on Droman Kaz. We, allied with the Republic, destroyed everything. Oh, it was so satisfying. Seeing everything he had built up all these years rendered to nothing in almost a snap. Damn, it was so satisfying after all the pain he had caused us. After the destruction of his main bases, Drevion finally had enough and decided that it was time that he fought us personally. He sent out a duel invitation, on Voss no less, for Mihiku and I. We decided that we were going to take them both down separately. I would finish off Milano, and she would kill Drevion. With the help of our friend Drelasa, that's exactly how this happened. I was actually the one that dragged Milano back to the Jedi Council, but I gave Mihiku specific instructions to destroy Drevion, and kill him she did. Later that night, I had went to Mihiku to try and find out what her next plan was. Unfortunately, she could only cry. Finally, after all these years, the person who she hated more than anything was dead. But she had no idea of what to do with her life now. Her reason for living is now gone. I told her that she needed to find a new way to live. Drevion no longer controlled her, no longer fueled her. And finally she decided to understand my words. Only took her long enough. But I was the one that honestly brought this up. Drevion had did all of this. I'm pretty sure he planned for something in case he died. In case he failed. Just in case we actually won. Sometimes I hate it when I'm right.